Hey guys, it's Aggie. Welcome back. This is going out to all of my younger friends, the ones who have just come out of college, you just graduated, you are now thrown into the wilderness called the real world. Welcome to the jungle. And you are struggling to swim. You're like, wait a sec, I thought I knew what life was all about, and turns out I was wrong. Okay, you were wrong a little bit, but it's okay because we were all there and we've all come out to the other side and it's fine. This one is tips for immediate post-grad life. That sweet spot. You know what I'm talking about. That time immediately after graduation, maybe you went on that like fun little vacation with your friends before you went into your jobs or before you started grad school, whatever the case may be. And now you have a job, now you're an adult, now you have grad school work where they really pile it on. You realize that you are in for some different stuff, like it doesn't feel the same anymore and people are treating you all different, and you realize not everyone sitting at the cafe dining hall, restaurant, is like 21. You went from being at the top of the food chain to now all of a sudden not even knowing what food chain you're part of. You're just trying to figure everything out. Aside from the big practical things, I could do a separate video on practical tips, like things that I've learned the hard way. And maybe it'll help some of you guys out, but this video is gonna be a little bit more general just to help you get your bearings. These are like 5 pillars that really helped me and that I think looking back really would have helped me like anchor myself and brace myself for what's happening, because nobody tells you that post-grad life immediately after sucks. It sucks. It can suck real bad. It can also be really great, but it usually sucks at first. So the first thing I want to tell you is you're not alone. All of my friends, literally, we all moved to separate places. Our school was in a city or close to a city, and a lot of us had come from different states. So then after graduation, we all kind of went back home or went to a different city to work. And I talked to all of them. We all agreed it sucks at first. But now it's much better. So I will let you guys know, hopefully these tips will help you get up on your feet faster and kind of like learn what's happening and just like immerse yourself. Here are the 5 pillars. Pillar number 1, be grateful for the grunt work. You've kind of started your entry-level job, which I'm sure you understand. It's very, very fortunate that you're able to have a job or to have a grad school education opportunity. You're grateful for it, but you also are like, listen, like I got a degree in something else. This feels like grunt work. It feels like I'm at the bottom. It's like there's a lot going on here, and this is like far from the dream I had. Like, this is not my dream job. First of all, I understand. Very few times is there glamour in the entry-level position, and that's why it's called an entry-level position. In many ways, you're learning. You realize that, like, as great as school was and as hard as you worked in school, it's not really teaching you how to do your job right now. Like, you can apply very few things to what you're doing day to day at your workplace, and you're starting to question, what was it that I was really doing with my time? I was like all up in the books, all up in the theory, and now it's like, here, practice, and life kind of pushes you into the dirt where all the practice and application happens. I'm just kidding. So now you're wondering, okay, like how quickly can I learn? How quickly can I learn? And can I learn something after I've seen it done once? There's a lot of stress that comes with grunt work. There's a lot of just all around like dissatisfaction that can be there, but what you have to understand is, hey, you got that paycheck, you're building experience, you're young, you can afford to be here for a while. In fact, it's foundational. If you want that dream job, you have to start here, you know? Like whether it's climbing up the ladder or you wanna like go someplace else, start your own entrepreneurship, whatever it is, you still need the skills that you're learning at your entry-level job. I really believe that there's a lot of value in that. Of course, it's not gonna be fulfilling. Of course, it feels like all your time is being spent working, like you work, then you come home, sleep, eat, whatever it is, rinse, repeat, go back to work, and you're just here all the time. But it's not forever. That's the first thing you have to realize. I think it's really good to set like a timeline for yourself, whether there's one that naturally is there via like contract when you first sign for your job, or whether you like create one and impose it on your own schedule yourself, I think it's really good to have a timeline because it kind of helps you like be more enthusiastic. You know it's not forever, but also you kind of have that pressure to say, okay, by this time I want to be like at this level. So be grateful for the grunt work. That's number one. It's valuable, trust me. 2, be purposeful with your time. So no longer is this like college where you can kind of find your friends on the weekend, everyone's kind of free, and you all go to that party, or you all like hang out and do whatever. You could do that too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with like heading to a bar with like a group of your friends or coworkers or whatever it is. That's totally fine. But if you're out and partying and drinking more than you would like to be, like you'll know immediately. You'll know like, oh, I'm doing this a lot and like I feel like all I'm doing is working and then drinking in my free time. That's a good indicator to check back in and try to like reassess how you can structure your free time. And this comes like later on down the road. You'll notice like early 20s free time versus like late 20s free time, mid to late 20s. It looks pretty different. I feel like the second group here is a lot more comfortable being like grannies at home. You know, doing whatever because they feel like it that weekend. They don't necessarily feel like going out. But I feel like in the beginning, there's a lot of FOMO that happens. So you just find yourself, you're out and you're sweating in the club or whatever a lot. So if that's what you want to do, that's great. Like no judgment here, but make sure it's something you fully chose and you're not just kind of like being led on a whim, on someone else's whim at that. So be purposeful with your time, whether it's taking up like another meditation class or whether it's starting a new workout that you've always wanted to do, or like even like whatever it is, your alone time, whatever it is that fuels you and that helps you feel like you spent your free time fruitfully, that's what you should do. And sometimes it is going out and blowing off steam, but I feel like you don't have that much steam to blow all the time. Like I get like any job can be stressful, but at a certain point you come to a time where you're asking yourself, what am I really doing? Like I have free time and I feel like the more free time I have, the more I waste it. So that's a big lesson that you can look out for. And if you start early, then you can get to like being a master of your time way quicker. And that's so valuable in so many ways. Number 3, check in with yourself. My taste in fun is staying in with a bunch of my close friends and like we all just journal together, or we all just like talk and have chats like this. But I understand not a lot of people like that. Journaling helps so many people, I believe, because it helps them think. People who like writing are thinkers by writing. So that's why they like it so much. They feel like they can figure it out. At least that's how I feel. So even if you're not doing that, I still think it's really important to stay really in tune with yourself. It's really easy once you're busy and once you have to think about so many different things in your mind. All that space is already preoccupied with your obligations, like whether it's your job, whether you're thinking about a problem that you couldn't solve at work and it just carries over, or whether you're thinking about obligations in your personal life, or just spending time like, you know, not really thinking. You have to make sure you reserve that space for like introspection, because once in a while, you'll realize, oh my God, it's been 6 months since I last had this conversation with myself. Like, oh my God, like time flies. When you start working or when you're in grad school, time flies, like time flies. So it's important to realize if too much time passes before you're checking in with yourself regularly, that's how you end up all of a sudden with this dramatic realization like, oh my God, I should have done something a long time ago or made this change a long time ago. So that's the biggest thing. Check in with yourself, see what your reality looks like. Does it match, or is it closer to than before the vision that you had for your ideal life? Are you getting closer than you were before? I think that's the biggest thing. And if the answer is yes, you're doing great. It's not like a big complicated thing. I think it's just a matter of questioning yourself, seeing your reality, and reconfiguring your goals to suit your needs at whatever stage of life you're in. Number 4, date yourself. I know that sounds weird and you may be asking yourself like, what does this girl mean? Like, Aggie, what do you mean? Okay, I'll tell you what I mean. So, you know how on a date, like when it's really going well, you ask the other person really interesting questions, you get to know them, like you really want to find out what makes this person tick. Do that for yourself, because a lot of times we don't ask ourselves the same amount of questions with nearly as much intensity as we ask these dates, or we ask our friends, or we ask people whose judgment we really respect. I think that a big skill of post-grad life and the 20s and 30s, all of that stuff, is really asking yourself, understanding what you think, formulating your own opinion, and generally just learning to spend time with yourself, learning to be comfortable in your own silence, like enjoy me time, spending time with yourself and feeling fulfilled in it because you're getting to know yourself better, you're asking yourself tough questions, you're really taking another look at your past, not just through the lens of like, oh yeah, that happened, like that's a memory I have, but trying to see like, how did that shape me? Or how does that change who I am today? And where am I going in the future? Like, what is my 5-year plan? My battery died. Okay, let's finish this up. So really figuring out how you like to spend your time and who you want to be. Number 5, date other people. So the biggest thing is figuring out at this stage romantically, what do I need? What kind of connection am I looking for? Am I looking for something short-term, something more long-term, something committed, something more casual? Whatever it is, I think it's important to figure that out and then just be unapologetic and go get it. And when you're dating people, just be intentional, be upfront, be honest, be kind, but also just super transparent. I think when you go in understanding exactly what you're looking for, it helps everyone all around. It helps you get what you want, it helps the other person figure out if they want the same thing as you, and it just ends up being a much better time. Anyway, so those are my 5 pillars. I hope they helped you out. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay golden.